let's go over the transport controls in Mixbus over here. Over here, you've got your metronome. So you can enable this to have a metronome or click playing back. For example, if you're recording a song in, you want a metronome to play so that you've got a sense of timing to record your part to. And this metronome is linked to the tempo, which is over here. Currently, this is set to 120 BPM, but I can double click on it and either type in another tempo or even use the tap tempo functionality. So if I didn't know the tempo for the song, I could play it back and tap on this. And you see that that changes the tempo for the project. But I know that the tempo for this song is 80 BPM. So I'm just going to change that. Okay, there we go. That adjusts the grid. Then next to this, you've got the go back to the start of the session. A jump here jumps to the start. As you can see on the locator markers, this is the start. And this view over here, you've got the start. Then this jumps to the end marker, which is the end marker for the song, which you can also see in this top view over here. So that allows you to quickly to jump between the start and end of the song if you need be. This is the playback loop range. And first, you need a loop area to loop. So I will be going over this section over here that has all the different ranges and markers. So that's this lane over here. I'm going to right click on this lane and say new loop range. And you can see that that creates a start of a loop and an end of a loop. It starts the playback of the audio. And listen now how it will loop back after that loop end. There we go. It's not a perfect loop. I just quickly dragged that in. And as you could hear, there was also the metronome that was playing along with that. So I'm just going to disarm that metronome. And moving on, we've got playback or play. And that's going to play from the playhead. So wherever I set this playhead, that's where it's going to play from. Now, there is another way to choose a different form of playback, and I will get to that soon. Then you've got your stop. So if you press play, you stop. And then finally, you've got your record. So what you're going to do when you record 2 tracks, you're going to record arm the track, press record, and playback. And then whatever is record armed will be recorded into this arrangement area over here. And what I skipped over is this MIDI panic button. Now, sometimes when you've got MIDI data playing back in your system, it can get stuck on a note called a hang note or MIDI hang note. Then if this happens, you can just click that and it'll just reset the MIDI and get rid of any of those hang notes or stuck MIDI data. Underneath the transport controls is a sort of like scrubbing tool or shuttle speed control. If you play back and you increase this, it's going to speed up, and the other way, it'll go in reverse. So maybe you're playing back, you want to scrub further along, or you want to go back. And this is your syncing. Currently, it's syncing to the internal clock of my computer system. But if you're using some form of external clock, you can click this and then it'll lock to the clock of the external device. But for this series, I'm going to be using an internal clock, so it'll sync up with the internal clock of my computer. Jumping to the next area over here, you've got your punch in and punch out buttons. So you will set your punch in points on this range over here. You can see I can set a punch in range, and this enables it to punch in from the punch in point and then punch out at the punch out point. But I will go over these settings when I get to recording audio in this series. And the same with this, you can choose to either have non-layered or layered recording parts. I'll get to that as well in the recording section. Now, these 2 options over here deal with the functionality of the playhead. So remember earlier I mentioned where your playback starts, and that's determined by the playhead. If you choose follow range and you have the range tool selected, watch as I make a range selection, how the playhead jumps to the start of that range. It'll start at the beginning of the playhead. So that's just a neat way while you're going in and doing some editing to make sure that playhead is always playing back from the start of that range selection. Then auto return is slightly different. With this, if you position your playhead somewhere and you start playback, if I stop this, it'll jump back to where I positioned the playhead just before that. So watch again. I'm going to position the playhead here, start playback. Stop it and start again. Awesome. So that's how the playhead functionality works with these functions. Here it's showing me the primary clock. So you can see your minutes, seconds, and then milliseconds. And then here are the bars and beats. As I showed you, you've got your metronome. This is your time signature. And then over here, this is a sort of mini timeline view. As you noticed, it picked up the locators, such as the start and the end. And when you get deeper into your song and you start making other locators, it's quite nice to use this view to jump between the different areas within the arrangement. So speaking of locators, in the next video, let me show you how to make some locators for the song. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.